Now, let's explore the network architecture. In any modern network, whether it is a small office or a large enterprise, there is a structured way to design how devices connect, communicate, and scale. This structure is called a network architecture. And it is not random. It is built in layers where each layer has a specific role. Let's start with the two-tier topology architecture, which is commonly seen in small to medium business networks. You can imagine it like a school setup. Each classroom considers access layer is connected to a central staff office, the distribution layer. In networking terms, this setup has two layers. Access layer, this is where end user devices like PCS, printers, and phones connect. It is usually the front line of the network. Distribution layer. The distribution layer sits above access layer. It handles routing decisions, applying policies, and managing traffic between different parts of the network. This architecture is simple, cost effective, and easy to manage, but it has limitations in terms of scalability. As your network grows and the number of devices increases, it can become inefficient to handle everything in just two layers. Three-tier architecture. This design is officially known as Cisco's three-layer hierarchical model. It adds a core layer on top of the distribution layer. The core layer acts like the highway system of the network, moving large volumes of data quickly and reliably between different areas. So now we have three layers, and here are how the layers work together. Access layer connects users to the network. Distribution layer manages traffic, enforces policies, and prepares data for routing. Core layer is the backbone. It transports large volumes of data quickly between distribution points. It is optimized for speed and redundancy. The three-tier model improves scalability, performance, and fault isolation. That's why you will find this design used in large enterprises, hospitals, and universities where networks span multiple buildings or departments. Spine leaf architecture. You usually find this architecture in cloud infrastructure or data centers. Think of it like a super efficient road network in a modern city. Leaf switches are like local intersections that are connected directly to servers, firewalls, or routers. Spine switches are the highways that are used to link all leaf switches together. What makes this design powerful is that every leaf switch is connected to every spine switch. So, no matter where your server is, there's always a direct route through the spine to reach it. This results in predictable performance, balanced traffic loads, and extremely low latency. It is especially useful in east-west traffic patterns where servers communicate with each other, not just with the internet. So, whether you are designing a Kubernetes cluster or hosting virtual machines, spine leaf architecture is used to keep things swift and clean. WAN stands for Wide Area Network, and its architecture is all about connecting geographically distant locations. Imagine a company with offices in multiple locations. Each site needs secure, reliable connectivity to share data, access central apps, or even video conference in real time. WAN architectures use different strategies. Hub and spoke. A central hub connects to various branch offices. It's easy to manage but depends heavily on the hub. Full mesh. Every site connects to every other site directly, which ensure high availability, but it increase cost. Dual homed WANs. In this mode, each branch has redundant links that is ideal for critical services. Technologies like MPLS, VPN tunnels, and SD-WAN all help build these architectures. The key goal is always the same: to stay connected no matter where you are. Let's understand the simplest of setups called small office slash home office, or SOHO. Imagine a freelance designer working from their apartment. They've got a wireless router provided by their ISP, a few Wi Fi devices like a laptop, tablet, and phone, maybe a wired printer or smart TV. SOHO networks usually combine routing, switching, and wireless in a single box. The goal is to simply plug it in, connect devices, and go. But even here, topology matters. If that router dies, everything stops. That's why basic topology awareness is helpful even at home. This architecture is lightweight, cost efficient, and perfect for small setups. Students, consultants, or single room offices. Let's look at a big change happening in the tech world, moving from on premises systems to the cloud. With on premises, companies buy and take care of their own hardware, like servers, which are kept in their office or data center. They handle everything themselves, including setup, maintenance, and security. On the other hand, cloud computing means the hardware is stored somewhere else and managed by companies like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, or Google Cloud. Businesses access these services online or through special connections without needing to worry about the physical equipment. Now, here is the interesting part. Even cloud networks follow topology principles. There are virtual switches, logical layouts, and architectural tiers just without physical cables. Engineers still design for fault tolerance, scalability, and performance, but only now it is done through dashboards and code instead of physical presence. Modern networks often blend both approaches. For example, a company might host its internal apps on premises but use the cloud for backup, collaboration, or disaster recovery. Now you have a solid foundation for understanding how networks are physically and logically built. In the next lecture, we will dive into another key topic, internet working models. These models help us understand how different computer networks connect and work together, such as the OSI and TCP/IP models. We will see how the different layers are involved when data travels from one device to another across networks. We'll learn what each layer does, how they interact, and why they are important for building reliable and efficient networks. I hope you learned something useful in this video, and I will see you in the next one. But wait, please don't forget to subscribe